You want to build your own smart home, but you don't know how much it's going to cost you. In this video, I'm going to have two scenarios for you, a starter home scenario and a family home scenario. I'll break down the cost down to the actual individual item, and all of the items will be linked in the description below. They're affiliate links, so if you click them, you'll support the channel. Let's roll the intro. This is Gio from Smart Home Makers, and in this channel we create home automation videos and smart gadget reviews. Hit the subscribe button down here and let's get into the video. So our starter home is around 1,000 square feet. What I would do is, the first thing I would do is I'll get immediately some smart lighting in. Most common and the easiest thing to use is either a LIFX bulb or Philips Hue bulbs. You can get a pack of for $179. What I would do also, I would also add a motion sensor. So the starter pack comes with a few bulbs. I would position them at the beginning in the hallway. In terms of thermostats, I have the Nest thermostat. It's been running very well for 3-4 years now. I have my one in the kitchen, and I think that might be a problem because if you have it in the kitchen, the temperature when you put the oven on or you're cooking, temperature will change. So what I would advise is to put it maybe in the living area. And I've got an article on my blog which I'll link somewhere here, and you can go and have a look at an in-depth, in-detail review of all of the other smart thermostats and the differences. But the idea is that you'll be able to use your phone to actually turn on, turn off the heating. A lot of them have geofencing. But that means that when you leave the house, then the heating will turn off automatically, and vice versa. For around $230. Now all of these are US dollars, and all of these, you need to check the latest prices really to see, because they might fluctuate. You can get them for cheaper, for sure, during the holiday season. Maybe only one internal camera to have some coverage. This might be useful if you have pets, or if you just want to see what's happening in terms of security in your property. I would position the camera somewhere in your living room area. Okay, so two types of things you need to look at. Local storage. That means that all of your footage is stored on a NVR, which is like a hard disk, or it's all cloud storage. Now I recommend to have local storage as much as you can, but it costs a bit more. You need to invest in the infrastructure to have it. So we'll talk about that when we look at the next the family home. But for one camera, just to get started with, I would go for a Google Nest Cam Indoor, just because it's one of the easiest to set up, and it is in the Google ecosystem, as we've already got Nest thermostat. I would get it on eBay, but I also would keep the box, because I think that later on you would then sell it on and upgrade to something better down the line. So better than mine. So that's $130. Voice assistant. Now here it's for me a battle between Alexa and Google Home. In this example, if you're going with a Google build, then Google Mini will be the easiest choice for you, around $40. Maybe only one Google Mini. You can consider also using a smart plug. There's really good smart plugs. They normally range around $30, and you might use it for your kettle or your Christmas tree, whatever you want. So now let's recap. For the starter home, we've got lighting, $179. Philips Hue kit plus the motion sensor, $38. We have the Nest thermostat, around $230. A Nest camera, I'm saying $130. You can get it cheap on eBay nowadays. Voice assistant for $40 and $30 for a smart plug. And that will give you the grand total, and I'm going to just double check this now, $897.87. So you can then expand. You can do this also cheaper if you're willing to go more a DIY route. This is a route for someone that hasn't got any experience in setting up these devices. They don't want to create, install Home Assistant like I have, and so many other videos that I do are home assistant centric. This video is really for someone who just starts out, just wants to get something from the shelf and just get going really. Okay, so let's look at the family home now. It's a typical 3-bedroom home in the UK, and we've got a ground floor and we've got a first floor, as you can see from here. So whatever I said for the previous video is valid, and here we're going to try and expand on the starter kit. So you've already got the starter kit, you had it in your previous home, now you moved to a bigger home, you started a family. What else could you invest in? Well, the first thing is to continue with the bulbs, so increase the number of bulbs. I have my whole house kitted up with Hue bulbs, but now I'm also looking into LIFX bulbs. I don't know if you can see it from at the back. I've got a box closed and I'm actually be putting one right here in this room. I'm going to explore that and try that out. But pick your favorite brand of light bulbs and just you'll enjoy them and you'll appreciate how good it's going to be to have them all around the house. So roughly budget for roughly $396. There are precise calculations that you'll see in the blog post. If you click on it, it's in the description. So let's go into more detail and let's talk about Wi-Fi. So at this stage, it's really important to have really good Wi-Fi coverage because we are increasing the number of devices. And a lot of these devices either require a plug connection called an Ethernet connection, or they're going to require a Wi-Fi connection. And I think it's really valuable not only for smart home tech, but just in general to have good rock solid Wi-Fi, especially if you're working from home or if you're doing anything with the internet that you require a good bandwidth. So I am a fan of Ubiquiti and Unify. I use many of their products, but I've got separate kit, and this is a new piece of technology called Ubiquiti Unify Dream Machine. And this machine it's an all-in-one. It's a router. It's a Wi-Fi access point, and it's also got a switching capability, meaning you've got some Ethernet ports that you can use. And I tremendously recommend this. It's $318. You've got like an all-in-one solution. It is easy to set up, but it is also quite powerful and does a lot more things that you probably never would even imagine, never want to touch if you don't know what they do. So, but out of the box, it is quite secure and turns on a lot of good features for you. So that will be good. I would also go about getting another maybe voice assistant. So maybe you'll have one here, one on one floor, one on the other. And you can use a voice assistant as like an alarm. That's what we do at our place. We use our Alexa as an alarm. But you can use it just for music or anything you wish. So maybe a couple of voice assistants. Good feature. If you get, obviously I recommend getting the same one. So if you bought a Google Mini or an Alexa, stick with it. So you have them and they can talk to each other nowadays with broadcasting. So you can broadcast a message from one and the other one will actually tell the message out loud. It's quite useful. I would go and get a doorbell also installed, and the doorbell will be your first point of security because a lot of the entries come from, burglars come from the front door. It's also good in general for packages and talking to people and communicating. You can pick up a good doorbell for around $200. You've got Nest and Ring, two big brands, but you've got also other options, but that's similar. I would invest in a vacuum robot at this stage. I've made a video about a Eufy robot vacuum, which I recommend, but any robot vacuum for around $250 is good enough in my opinion. You can go up in terms of price range, but I'm looking at a Eufy 30C and position maybe the vacuum in the kitchen because you might need it the most. You might even get two if your budget stretches. You get one for one for and one for another. So consider that. Robots can't walk upstairs. This piece of the puzzle might be a bit expensive. So here we're looking at audio systems, and one of the easiest things that you can get is a Sonos system. It is really good quality. I have Sonos, I've had it for a few years. It is pricey, it is a bit expensive, but you can get a nice 5.1 surround system. So I have either a play bar or play bass in front of the TV, 2 play ones at the back, potentially maybe a sub, or you can just do a 5.0 if you don't want the subwoofer, to save some money perhaps. And that is going to cost you around $1,100, to give you an idea. Following on, we're looking at investing now maybe in more advanced IP camera solutions. So we can look at, so if you've got a Unify system, we can look at Unify cameras. So remember that previous camera that we had in the starter home, I would just box it up and sell it on eBay. You probably get your money back, whatever you spent. But at least you had some type of coverage. And now at this stage, I would just get a couple of IP cameras. They have local storage, and you need to throw in if you have the Unify Cloud Key Gen 2, I think that's what it's called, but I do have it, and you can use that as a cloud key, and also it will record all your footage on it. So budget maybe around $400, $500 for the recorder and a couple of cameras. So for a family home, all this summed up gets you close to $3,000 to have this set up. And if you're counting in the setup from the starter home, always another $800, $900. So let's round it up to $4,000 to have a smart home that you manage yourself. Now the really good thing is, remember, you can build this in stages. You can buy some kit 1 month, some kit another month. You can get great deals coming up. Black Friday is coming up. Grab yourself a deal. Look on eBay for things that are coming up. So there's a ways you can save money. And there are also, if you want to go a mile further, there are other tools, and there's also hubs like Home Assistant that you can, if you want to invest some time and want to learn about it, I've got a playlist that you can just have a look at, and you'll find a lot of the products are actually cheaper, and they're more secure because they're local local communication, so they don't communicate out to the cloud. So eventually there might be something that's too early for you, but this is just a guideline so you know what to expect. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll enjoy our other videos. Link a playlist, subscribe and like the